It is currently 2:16 a.m. as I am recording this, and I have just finished chapter 4 of Poppy Playtime, and I must say I am very underwhelmed, honestly, and kind of disappointed. Originally, this video was going to be broken into parts and was going to be this entire plan I had figured out, but honestly, this is probably going to turn into a rant. Before we get into the meat of this conversation, I want to say that I was a very big fan of chapters 1, 2, and 3 for Poppy Playtime, as I feel like they had a very engaging pull aspect, a very engaging hook when it came to story, and when it came to gameplay execution, they had some very unique enemies to battle and some very unique ways of battling them. Chapter 4, however, unfortunately is just a walking simulator that gives you exposition through these boring notes and these boring tapes. Everything went black. I woke up in one of the same cells the experiments
Are
were
you
in.
still here writing this fucking thing?
Right? Like, what? And it's like, it's not even top panic writing. He's just very, I can see him in the cell writing like what's his face, Blackbeard.
I was thinking that.
And very boring execution of the enemies. Let me start out by talking about the story, since I think that that is arguably one of the better parts of this chapter. I think it's the part that they spent the most time trying to curate, which affected the other aspects of the gameplay, but we'll get into that later. We pick up where chapter 3 left off as we descend from the plague care into the deeper sections of the toy factory, or as we now know, the prison. Poppy babbles on about having allies down here without giving us any explanation. Thank you, Poppy, for that. And then she fucks off, as she always does. And I'm supposed to take this with a grain of salt, although we do uncover that she is a little rat later on in the story. Regardless, we meander about in the prisons until we find out that there is this doctor character who essentially works with the prototype to cuck the people who are here and continue to cuck the surviving monsters. I have to say, this entire prison section was just unsufferably boring. The visuals for the game have gotten substantially better, and I have to give the developers props for that. It gave me the implication that we were going to see something fresh and something new. But the enemy types and the puzzles that were explored here were very bare bones and honestly were just boring. Yarnaby, one of the new baddies in the game, is honestly one of the least scary or unique monsters in the entirety of the series, as it's just a glorified lion that yells and roars. I'm so terrified. I'm sure you can hear it in my voice. He was gonna kill me. I just wanted to slap him on the ass a bit. All of his sections were honestly just tedious. This is astounding to me because in the previous chapter, I thought that they did a really good job at, cutting out sections of the game and saying, okay, this is this baddie's, whole section. This is their gimmick. You had to look at that one bitch teacher lady. Catnap had his whole interactive boss fight that was very entertaining and very well done. It felt like a lot more thought was put into these things. Anyways, I'm sorry, I think I'm getting sidetracked. I said I was gonna talk about the story and then I went off on a tangent about the monsters. Listen, the story is just okay. I think that they took a lot of time delving into the lore this chapter, into why these things happen to these children, and it's very dark, and they do a very good job at immersing you into that role. Characters like Doey are very, very compelling, and they have a very good backstory and all that good stuff. But in that same breath, I have to insult the story for honestly being a little bit predictable. I could have told you that Ollie was suspicious since the first time I met him in Playcare. Why is he over the phone? Why can we not see him? Why can we not speak to this individual? Poppy is a flake. Like I said, every time she fucks off, and I'm not going to be surprised when she does it in the final leg of the series. Also, this might be an unpopular opinion, but Poppy and Doey have this entire argument on whether they should blow the place up or whether they should, in Doey's defense, try to free everybody. I'm gonna be honest, I don't give a fuck. It was my understanding that our main character's main goal was to fucking escape. And previously to this, Poppy lied to him to get him to go deeper into the playtime areas. And while I do understand that what's going on down here is dark and that I should have this moral dilemma, I don't know, it just doesn't click for me. And this goes all around the story. This doctor character, the prototype, like, yes, I care about bringing them down because they are bad people who do bad things. But at the same time, it's like, I think the gameplay contradicts me wanting to do these things. And that's gonna be my shift to the gameplay side of this review. That's a very bad bug for me.
Yeah, what the fuck? Maybe you have to restart or something?
Please tell me they gave me a checkpoint after that. They had to have. They just had to have. No, they didn't.
No, they didn't.
They didn't. Oh my goodness.
The fuck? At least we know how to solve it.
I
But still,
can't-
that's ridiculous.
But I still can't. Oh my goodness. Or even touching on what we do in the game as gameplay. This game is riddled with bugs. I hate that I even have to bring this up, but so many times I ran into bugs playing this game and it pulled me completely out of whatever was happening. I understand that this is an indie project for the most part and that it's going to take some ironing out of problems to make it really work well, but we can't have this many bugs in the game day one, guys. Come on, man. Like,
Where's the hiding spot again? Yeah, I'm fucked. I couldn't get in.
it just ruins the whole experience. This is not the first time this has happened either. On the first day of these chapters releases, they're usually, riddled with bugs here and there, but this chapter specifically had a lot of them. Some of them I even had to restart my game in order to get it running again. Well, there we go. How's he banging on the door? He's just looking at it. Okay. Bullshit.
That's so good.
Fix the bugs, developer, before you release it, or I'm just not gonna have a good time. Alright, moving on. I think the core base loop of this chapter really felt like puzzle, 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 run, 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 puzzle, 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 run, 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 repeat. I'm not going to sit here and act like the previous chapters didn't do some semblance of this loop as well, but I think that the puzzles were a lot more engaging, and I think that the enemies that were chasing you and how you had to deal with them while solving the puzzles was executed a lot better in a 2 or a 3. I think about this dead-eyed cretin as he lingers closely to you and you play red light, green light in that huge, beautiful room. I guess beautiful is the wrong word, but you get what I mean. It was engaging and it was fun, and although you are generally doing the same things as you're doing in chapter 4, the execution is just miles and miles ahead in the previous chapters. It's very important that they hit this point well because it heavily contradicts my why. That why being why I'm going down deeper into the playtime area to redirect the gas and to set the explosives and to do X, Y, and Z. It gets me through the game a lot easier if you have this gameplay locked down. And I have to say, I just don't think they did this time around. Going back into the characters and the boss fights, I found them to be very lackluster. Harley, or the Doctor, was just honestly a very underwhelming boss fight, and I didn't really get a lot out of it, especially for all of this buildup of walk around, walk around, walk around, puzzle, 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 walk around, puzzle, 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 walk around. It just didn't do it for me at the end. The climax, so to say, was not very climaxing.
Lord have mercy, I'm about to bust.
At the end of the day, I just feel like the developers are releasing chapters for the sake of releasing chapters. They're going through the motions to execute the lore, and they're focusing on this lore. Oh, we gotta write the lore, You don't give a fuck about the lore at the end of the day, guys. If you don't have gameplay down, that shit doesn't matter. How do people not understand this? I don't want to walk around while Doctor Who spouts exposition about X, Y, and Z. We get it. This is basically Auschwitz for children. We have all the motivation we need to continue with this story, but you guys are so focused on executing this lore aspect to the point where you're losing the real reason why people play the game, and that's gameplay. And it sucks that I was really excited for this chapter. I was really, really fucking excited for this chapter. But I sit here, now it's 4 a.m., and I'm really curious where the game goes from here. If we get another chapter and it leads to a chapter 6, am I going to be excited about that? How long am I going to have to wait? And if it's a short amount of time, is it going to be executed with the same veracity and the same energy that was done in the chapters 2 and 3? And the honest answer is I don't know. If I had to say, honestly, I'd rather them do one last chapter, one big final boom that really kicks it all off, but honestly, I don't think that's going to be the case. I think we're going to get at least 2 more. One where we fight Ollie, or I guess the prototype, and another where Poppy is probably the enemy, since she is a flake, as I mentioned before. And anyways, I gotta go to sleep. I'm sorry if this rant was displaced. I'm fucking tired, and I've just played Poppy Playtime for way too long. If you like the video, subscribe if you want to subscribe, all that good stuff. I'm gonna catch you on the next one, bro. I gotta go to sleep. Wow, Poppy Playtime, I really expected better. Whatever.